The adventure starts, Habibi. Where are we off to?
The hell?
Please go outside.
Don't film me anymore. Fucking idiot.
So people here have been the most friendliest, to be honest. What's up, YouTube? I'm here in Bucharest in Romania, and I'm going to go on a very special trip today. I'm going to leave the capital of Romania and go to one of my favorite regions, and that is Transylvania, or Transylvania if you want to make it sound like Dracula. We're going to rent a car, we're going to leave Bucharest, and we're going to show you just how spectacularly beautiful Transylvania is. Let's go together to Transylvania. What do you think of when you hear the word Transylvania?
Blood-sucking.
Blood-sucking. Dracula. Another one. Hey, I'm Connor the Language Star, and this is the real Transylvania. So forget your cliches about vampires and Dracula and all that kind of BS about Transylvania. I'm going to be showing what it's really like here, and this is a lot more representative than anything you might have seen in cinema or any of these kind of cheesy stereotypes that we read in the media about the region. Transylvania is not just the stereotype about vampires and all that. It's actually a historical region, one of the historical regions of Romania, and has a population of around 7 million. The main cities are Cluj, which is the biggest, here Brașov, and Sibiu, which is known as the Jewel of Transylvania. So here we have the backdrop to Brașov. As you can see, it's absolutely gorgeous. Here we have the Black Church, Biserica Neagră, one of the most beautiful cities in the region for sure, if not of Europe. This is why I love Transylvania so much. This is exactly the reason. Towns, scenery, mountains, fresh air. It feels a million miles away from the big smoke of Bucharest. So that behind us was a €1 million church, which apparently caused a lot of scandal when we googled it. Here in Romania, in provincial Transylvania, the gold came from Ukraine. It's apparently the only place you could get a gold dome like that. Opulence in rural Romania.
That's good.
So behind me here is the famous fortified church in Biertan. So this one here in Biertan is probably the most famous, it's most recommended, and most intact. So this is very traditional in the region to have these churches that were then later fortified, so they could also serve as defensive positions if the village was attacked. So I'm inside now in a very special room in the fortified church in Biertan, this is basically a room to which couples who were having marital problems were sent, and they were basically made to stay here for 1 month. They only had one bed and one set of cutlery, and in 300 years of this policy they had one divorce. Very effective method of marriage counseling, reconciliation.
Hallo, kommen Sie regelmäßig nach Hermannstadt. Hermannstadt ist eine sehr schöne Stadt und die Leute sind nett.
Produs natural tradițional din fructe.
De fructe, e cu alcohol?
Da.
Cu alcoholic?
50% alcool, 100% natural. Asociația Producătorilor de Pălincă.
Pălincă, ok. Foarte bun, foarte bun. Și brânza, ce tipă de brânză?
Brânză maturată de vacă.
De vacă?
De vacă,
Ok.
da. Uite, gustă să vezi.
Ok. Cât oai ai?
200.
200. Okay. So 200 he has.
200?
Yeah. So down there below me is Viscri. The village is really small and has a population of about 400, 500 people. But it has one special inhabitant, and that is that the Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, actually has a house here. So this is quite an obscure place for maybe a royal family member from the United Kingdom to have a residence, but it is true, he does live here on the main street. He's not here all the time, obviously. He goes between several residences, but he does come a couple of times a year and hangs out here, walks through this beautiful nature. in Transylvania, and that is Bran Castle, otherwise known as Dracula's Castle. But the nexus with the very famous vampire figure from cinema is very, very flimsy, right? So Dracula is actually the invention of an Irish-British author called Bram Stoker. And whilst he did take the name Dracula from Vlad Tepes, who's Vlad the Impaler, who's also known as Dracula, he actually wasn't even thinking of this castle here when he wrote the book. He was thinking of another castle he had written about, and actually he wasn't. While he did obviously base the novel primarily in Transylvania, he kind of took these legends that were quite common in medieval Europe, and it wasn't really Romania specific. However, these guys have done some fantastic marketing because everyone thinks this is Dracula's castle. Now, Vlad Tepes, who is a famous historical figure in Romania. He was a person that existed. He's not a fantasy figure, but he was quite ruthless. He was known as Vlad the Impaler because he used to impale his victims, his adversaries, his enemies captured in battle on poles. So they're basically put in poles and they would slowly die. He's quite a cruel character. And but he was not a vampire. It has nothing to do with vampires in terms of his own behavior. But they've done a fantastic marketing job because people come here to Bran Castle, which is a very nice castle, I have to say. But it's not really that closely associated with the real historic figure who is Vlad Tepes. But nonetheless, it's worth a visit out here to see it because it is quite fantastic. So Vlad Tepes, the despot who ruled Wallachia, which was a kingdom here in modern day Romania, he did have an association with this castle, and that was because he was actually imprisoned there for 2 months when he was captured by a Hungarian king. And he was in the region. He'd have a lot of campaigns against the Germans here in Brașov. Well, the Germans who were based close to here in Brașov. So this region had a lot of German influence. The Teutonic Knights actually built this castle here, and it's really a very interesting historical monument. But don't come here and really believe this is Dracula's castle. There's nothing to do with vampires here. So here we are just at a country fair, really raw food here that's being cooked right in front of our eyes. Bună ziua!
Wie heißt du?
Ich heiße Connor. Und du?
Ich bin Tennis.
Okay, super.
Tennis?
Vorbi în Roma.
Copilul, dacă plătești, dacă plătești, nenea. A, nu ne-ai filmat, nenea?
Here we go.
Boom! Where are we? We're on top of Transylvania, the most amazing road in all of Europe. Is this the best driving experience you've ever had?
Absolutely.
Number
Hands
one.
down.
Number
Hands
one.
Down.
So we've got the mountains in front of us. We're on the famous road, Transfăgărășan. I need to learn how to say it because I keep saying it wrong. Transfăgărășan. So this road is known as Ceausescu's Folly. So Ceausescu was the dictator in Romania until 1989 when he was deposed in a bloody revolution here. So he had this built at huge expense through the mountains, but maybe they call it his folly. But Nikolai, it's an amazing road. At least you did one thing right when you were robbing the people blind. Amazing vistas, amazing feeling being up here, winding through the roads, really fantastic. Can fully understand why Top Gear said #1 road in Europe to drive. The sun is setting here in Sibiu in magical Transylvania, and that is a metaphor for this amazing trip that I've just had here in the center of Romania. It's drawing to a close. Sibiu was the last city on the tour, so this is unfortunately going to be the end of the trip. I had an amazing time. I hope it changed your image of Transylvania. When you hear the word, you don't think of Bram Stoker's Dracula only, and that you realize that it's got a really rich and varied culture here with influences from Romanians, Hungarians, Germans, and the Roma, and it has this kind of magnificent mix in the mountains, really spectacular scenery and cities. So if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribing, and hit that bell on beside YouTube, beside the channel's name, if you want to get direct notifications from me when I have a new video. So for me, Conor the Language Czar, it's Auf Wiedersehen and goodbye, la revedere from Sibiu, Hermannstadt, Transylvania, Romania. See you in the next video.